I am Henk Honing, account manager at Promega. I'm visiting ICMP, the International Commission on Missing Persons in The Hague. Today I will learn how Promega's products are being used to achieve their mission. Let's go in.
Hi Henk, great to see you today.
Nice to see you.
Come on in, welcome.
Kieran, can you tell me something about the mission of ICMP?
ICMP is an international organization. We work all over the world. A big part of the work that we do is our science and technology work. We identify missing people from a whole variety of different causes, so whether that's conflicts or natural disasters, through migration or even individual missing people. And that includes reference samples from family members of those who are missing, but also post-mortem samples, many of them are skeletal remains. They are challenging samples, but We've worked to develop methods, and we continuously implement new technology that helps us to get the best from all of the different samples that we're processing.
Today I'd like to learn from you how you use Promega technologies in your laboratory and how it brings value.
Yeah, happy to talk to you about that. So ICMP's DNA laboratories have had quite a few new instrumentation over the last couple of years, and from Promega that's the Spectrum CE systems, and also in our pre-PCR workflows the Maxwell extraction instruments and MaxPrep liquid handlers.
What are you using the MaxPrep and the Maxwells for?
The Maxwell MaxPrep combination is great for our DNA extraction workflows. The Maxwell bone extraction protocol is quite fast, so that really helps us to make things more efficient and to boost our capacity. So that's great for us. And to combine that with the MaxPrep, the really straightforward, intuitive processes of like prepping the deck tray for the Maxwell and straight, transferring from the Maxwell deck into DNA extract tubes at the end of the process makes it all very seamless. We are specialists with bone, and we want to continue to be that specialist, but we also know that we have to adapt as well. And so one of the things that the Maxwell gives us is the ability to process other casework kind of samples, human tissue, hairs, nails, those kind of things. Those other sample types is also an important aspect of the Maxwell MaxPrep workflow for us. And then, downstream, using the MaxPreps for quantification and PCR setups, that's really helpful for us. It's that traceability, but also that walk away thing, so you can load up your instrumentation and staff can go focus on other tasks that we can't automate. And I think one of the key selling points as well is obviously our partnership with Promega is really important to us, but the MaxPrep workflow allows us to also use other kits too, and I think that's quite special. So to be flexible is really important for an organization like ICMP, where we've got partners all around the world and we have to adapt to their demands and requests.
So you also mentioned that you acquired 2 new capillary electrophoresis systems. So why did you choose for Spectrum CE?
The 8-die capability is something that we're really excited about, how that can help us in the future with the samples we process. A lot of them are bone and teeth samples, and some of them are quite old samples. So the DNA can be quite degraded in those samples, and being able to use an 8-die kit where we've got the same number of markers, but in a shorter range of base pairs, means that we can maybe get more data from our samples than we could if we use like a 6-die kit or a 5-die kit even. So that's a real benefit that we maybe haven't exploited to the greatest extent yet, but certainly for the future will be really helpful for us. One of the other things about the Spectrums, generally is the data quality is really good. Not too much rework, and the profile quality is really nice. My analysts are happy with that data. But also, you know, the software is really intuitive to use. It's super straightforward. So it's the flexibility thing again, you know. So the ability to put 4 plates into the instrument and to switch them out while the instrument's running, that like helps with prioritizing samples. You know, if you've got urgent samples, you can really focus on putting that urgent sample to the front of the queue, basically. And I think that flexibility is great to have as well.
So you might have heard Promega is working on the next generation of kits that contain a new enzyme that's called reduced stutter polymerase, which results in less stutter in your DNA profiles. How could ICMP benefit from this?
You know, one of the challenges sometimes with bone samples is that you do get a lot of stochastic effects, and they can be quite challenging profiles to interpret. Because of the sort of chemical composition of the sample that you're dealing with, basically. So by reducing the stutters, maybe we get more balanced, you know, easier to interpret profiles, which will still be helpful, even in the context of single source profiles. So, you know, if you get a nicer, cleaner profile, who isn't going to want that?
That makes sense. So talking about the mission of ICMP,
yeah.
So how are Promega technologies actually helping ICMP achieve or fulfill their mission?
You know, Promega's technology has really helped us to boost our capacity, and that helps us to respond to the demand relating to missing persons cases around the world, which is a growing challenge, really. You know, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of disasters, migration, and all of these causes of why people go missing continue to be real big problems for the world. So, yeah, using Promega's technologies, STR kits, instrumentation, they're really helping us to deal with that work that we have to process here. And I have to say that the partnership that we've had in the last couple of years and the support that ICMP has had with validating and implementing new technology, new instruments, has been really helpful for us to really move things into casework use much quicker.
Thank you for having me today. That was a very interesting day at ICMP. It was exciting to learn how ICMP is using Promega's instruments and newest technologies to fulfill their important mission. We are very proud to have a partnership with such a meaningful organization.